So about the time the manager started walking up, and he pulled out the gun and said, "Get on up here, buddy." So then he came over and he gave him all the bills. He said he didn't want the loose change, but he gave him the rolls. And then he put it in. He wanted to look in the other cash drawer. So we opened it up, and there wasn't any money in it. So he said, "Happy New Year," and turned around and walked out.
The gunman struck at Harold's Liquor Store in the 3400 block of North Decatur. The manager of the store, June Wall, said she was alone at the time when the man entered to buy a package of cigarettes. She said he didn't show a weapon but held his hand in his jacket as if he had a gun. She said she was forced to get on the floor as the man took more than $300 from the cash register. Mrs. Wall said she is sure the electronic cameras got a good picture of the man. Less than 5 minutes later, Fort Worth police, having an accurate description of the getaway car, captured a suspect about a mile away. He was taken to the police department where charges are still pending. The man reportedly had about the same amount of cash as taken from the liquor store. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
Cunningham today. I asked if he had received the Mesquite Fire Department's official cause for the fire.
Yes, we do, and he did verify electrical fire.
In what part of the store?
In the left front, around the registers, from the registers to the frozen food boxes to the left.
So despite last night's or night before last fire, there is no suspicion of arson then?
None whatsoever, just a coincidence.
Randy Morris lived in this converted mobile home behind his grandmother's house. Most people in Forney will tell you that Randy had wanted to be a firefighter as long as they could remember. And meanwhile, right down the street, the ruins are still smoldering at a lumber company where fire destroyed everything standing just 24 hours previous to the Cunningham fire. But as they say, there is no arson suspected at this time. Randy Moore was not a beginner at fighting fires as a volunteer helper. You see, he helped fight this fire just 24 hours before his death. His father owned this lumber yard. In Forney, this is Jim Mitchell, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Well, like you say, being 5'10" and everything, I come out and give 110%. And, sometimes it depends, certain teams we play, they have, bigger guards. And the coach, figure like he has to go with his bigger guards, which is fine, since he's a coach and everything. But, I just come out and, play tough defense and whatever I can contribute to help the team.
Because of your quickness and your speed, you prefer the run and shoot type of basketball?
Oh, yes, definitely. So, at my height and everything, that's my type of game, getting the ball, the big guys, getting it off the board, whipping it out to me, when we go on the break. And, if I got to shot from 10 or 15 feet, or else I can hit the open man. So I say, most of the guards in the league, under 6 foot, are the smaller guards. We prefer this type of game.
A lot of guards like to score points and that's it, but you don't seem to give up anything on defense.
Oh, well, I don't know, you hear a lot of coaches say the little guys, they can't play the defense. But, I really take pride in playing D. And I come out and, I go down. If I score, I come down and, like you say, I just, take great pride in playing defense.
Originally, the City Council was considering a plan which would have placed guards at all the boarding gates here at Love Field. To do this would have required more than 100 guards and would have cost about $1 million a year. But under the security plan adopted today, the checkpoints and the security guards will not be at the boarding gates. They'll be here in each major concourse using an electronic detection device similar to the ones now being used in the Delta Airlines concourse. The advantages of this plan is that it will reduce the number of guards which are needed from more than 100 to less than 70 and will cut the cost in half. But there is one big disadvantage to this plan. It means that everyone who comes to the concourse will have to pass through the detection device, even those people who are going to a boarding gate to meet a passenger or to see him off. And if the non-passengers cause an alarm on the detection device, they'll have to be searched too. City officials realize this will cause inconvenience for some people, but that's a price the city is willing to pay in return for increased security at Love Field. And it will all go into effect throughout the airport on February 6th. Jack Hill, Channel 8 News on the Move.
I administer you this oath. Will you please raise your right hand? I, Frederick Curry. And furthermore solemnly swear that I have not directly nor use you or let your temper use it. And will to the best of my ability. And will furthermore solemnly swear. Preserve. Protect.
Well, it'll buy us a great deal of publicity to the world, showing that Dallas and Fort Worth are together and they're building the greatest airport in the world, which in turn will get worldwide coverage from the standpoint of bringing commerce and industry to this area.
Would that work as a spare? Can we put that one in as a spare?
Yes, you can keep it as spare.
It's only on the ground then that this counts.
That's right, only on the ground. Yes, sir.
Have you had a lot of customers come in the last week or so before this new regulation went into effect to try to get inspected before they had to have good tires?
Yes, we did. Last week we had quite a few. Last week come in before the first, even though some of them wasn't due until the second of the year, the second month in the year, which would be February. They still come in.
Well, this is Roger McDonald, Channel 8 News on the Move, apparently illegally.
16-year-old Nancy Wilson has set up shop in her hospital bed. She may be sick, but that's not stopping her from doing her part to raise enough money to get the Bryan Adams band and drill team to the president's inauguration in Washington. She's selling light bulbs and has even conned her nurse into buying some. Nancy, don't you think this is going a little bit beyond the call of duty? I mean, selling from your hospital bed?
Well, not really, because we want to go to Washington, real bad, because this is the most important thing to us. And besides, it's a good sales pitch, because who else has as much money as Doctors does?
Well, how much money have you managed to raise?
Well, by the last count, we have $5,000.
Well, now, the band needs something like $40,000 to get to Washington, D.C., and if the rest of the healthy members of the band are as enthusiastic as Nancy in raising the money, they're bound to make it. Martha McIntire, Channel 8 News on the Move.
Areas of political judges. Giving or withholding his vote.
Yes. Information, may I help you? Well, I'm